is up, everybody? I got a special guest here. We're going to be talking about a presentation you do not want to miss. We're going to talk about how Dave actually took $100,000 as an experiment, been doing it in crypto, but not Bitcoin. So we're going to talk about three things you probably haven't heard of, and they've jumped to, in the last 8 weeks, he's made about $700,000 profit in 2 months. Now, you can start with $1,000 or $100, but this is just kind of an experiment. And I'm going to do a little introduction for Dave. So I've known Dave for a long time here in LA. And the cool thing about Dave, he catches trends consistently better than most people. So he caught a trend, his new trend in 1995 called the internet. He was one of the first people to be on the internet. He launched a site in 1995. He's made over, what'd you say, over $150 million?
Yeah, over that.
He's made over $150 million in regular business, internet business, which is the second wave of the revolution we've seen in the last 50 years. The first wave was TV in the 1950s and 60s, revolutionizing, business. The second wave was the internet, which started right around when you got started. Amazon started in 94, Dave started in 95, $150 million later. 2014, he bought Bitcoin at $300. And of course, we know now it's up to 17. It's hovering, let's say, 15, 16 plus. But there's an opportunity in what I consider the third wave. It depends on how you think of this. But really, there was that Bitcoin wave. If you had bought Bitcoin in 2010, 2 pizzas sold for 10,000 Bitcoin. Somebody was literally, what was the guy? Laszlo was his name. He was in Florida. He said, I'll give you 10,000 Bitcoin if you give me 2 pizzas. And they did it. And that's $170 million he lost out on. So that was really the third wave, the Bitcoin wave. But there's a fourth wave coming. And that's what we're talking about. And that's in the smaller cryptocurrency coins that everybody's forgotten about. So there's other things besides Bitcoin. Obviously, there's things like, Ether. There's Bitcoin Cash. There's Litecoin. There's all these IOTA and all these things that people are talking about. But there's even smaller, quote-unquote, penny cryptos. Now, they're not penny stocks because it's an incorrect analogy to say that Bitcoin is the same as owning Apple stock, because Apple stock, you own a part of Apple. Bitcoin is more like gold 2.0, digital gold, okay? There's Ripple, there's all of these, and some of these are, protocols like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, and then some of these are utilities. We'll talk about a utility, like a company like Augur. Jeremy Gardner was here yesterday. So there's all this kind of stuff coming out, and you need to not be somebody who misses, the fourth wave. You miss the fourth wave, you're going to be pissed at yourself, okay? So I'm going to let Dave and I are just basically going to talk. We should put some of this on our podcast, by the way. We're just going to talk and just take question and answers. I'm going to tell you a true story. I don't even think I told you this. So I did a mastermind. I had 33 of the top cryptocurrency experts from around the world flew in October to my house. And Dave was there, and he was like, Stellar. Check out this thing, Stellar. And it was at 1 penny, I think.
It was at 1.5 cents the day of that meeting.
And then what's it at right now?
19.
So basically, it's 10, 15x.
The funny thing is, right at the day after the meeting, it started going up. I was like, did someone in Ty's group start running it up?
Did they start buying it? There was
an IBM deal. That's why it went up.
Yeah, IBM. I mean, some of you, were you watching yesterday? If you haven't subscribed to my Bitcoin Crypto Mentor Mastermind podcast, it was number 2 or 3 business podcast in the world already. And I had Jeremy Gardner here, who's one of the original guys, got into Ether at 90 cents. He's a blockchain capital partner, the biggest blockchain, with Brock Pierce and these guys. Anyway, we said last night we talked about QTUM, QTUM. That thing doubled since we said last night. My brother after he watched yesterday, he's like, dude, I should invest in QTUM. And he said he was too lazy last night, and it basically doubled. So, Dave, let's shoot the shit. Let's talk about 3 cryptocurrencies that aren't Bitcoin that you have to know about. Is it scratching?
No, I just need to go to the other side because the way you're
Okay.
Yeah, I realized that recently when I realized that this is more than just about Bitcoin. It's a new platform that's going to disrupt many industries. And that's when I realized I got to spend all of my time studying so we can understand what this is and make the right investments.
Dave basically has a business on autopilot that makes him that does $14 million a year. So now he has. Was it my idea for you to get a CEO?
Actually, you
I can't take
just
credit.
get a CEO.
He was working all day on his business.
Like, seems obvious. That's a good idea, and it was like you did inspire me to get the CEO, and now it's fabulous.
So now I basically years ago, I can't take credit for it, but we were talking, and I said, you should just get a CEO. So he has a CEO running his $14 million a year business, and now he takes all his time and basically studies the market.
I like to spend most of my time studying so I know what I'm doing. Then I invest based on that, and then I try to share the info with videos and some of the videos.
For those of you who are in my advanced 60-day mentorship, where I brought in top crypto people to teach you, he's one of the instructors. So he was just here today. We were just talking. I said, why don't we talk about this? Someone's talking about the profits are in Litecoin. We were talking about Litecoin yesterday. Litecoin's basically a fork off Bitcoin.
The three I like.
Let's do them one at a time. Do them one at a time. So he's very bullish on one thing. What is it?
Which one first do we want to do?
Do your favorite. Do your favorite.
My favorite is my Stellar. You got to love things that go up 10x in 2 months. But so we've got our.
And we're going to be talking for advanced and beginners. So some of you who are advanced, we get it. You know stuff. But we were trying to talk to a lot of different people. And for those of you beginners, if you're lost, just leave a comment that says, I'm lost.
Okay, so this Stellar, the technology is great in that, Bitcoin, I think it takes, a block closes every 10 minutes. It takes a long time for transactions to go through. It's expensive. Stellar Networks, transactions go through every 5 seconds, and it's free.
Yeah.
And and it's completely decentralized.